Come on, let's do a morning show, Shannon. Come on, come on, do it!
So hard. Okay.
We need a morning show. There it is. Most slovenly watering ever.
I'm joking. This is nice, Shannon. I'm still being nice.
That's awesome. Look at her. Oh, she's literally gritting her teeth.
You just can't be nice overnight, you know. It's something.
That's right. Would it kill you to be nice? Probably.
It's not killing me, but it is very, very hard. You ready?
Hiking it up.
See your hair?
Yep.
Eep.
No woman will ever love you as much as your mommy. Reference? Anybody? I think I've done that one before, though. Okay, so this morning, I'm passing by the conference room. I believe the door is ajar. And I hear, and I'm like, ah. So I say this out loud. I'm like, ah, the familiar cry of the mockingbird, right? And Shannon comes out, and she is regal and poised, and just heads up the stairs, book balanced on her head. She is too dignified to give that a response. So she's being nice. So instead of trading barbs, I just like shot a barb, and she's like, ow, that really hurts. I'm like, what?
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do that. No, but seriously, Shannon is...
In my head, though, like, because I'm being nice. It's a new thing I'm trying.
It was like the Terminator with all the responses.
In my head, I was like, oh, can't say that, can't say that. Oh, I gotta walk away. I have nothing to say.
Yeah, it was fantastic. You got me. Because the other two guys were like, what is wrong with you? Why would you say such a mean and hurtful thing?
Maybe it's better that I don't say anything.
We were playing around.
Yeah. No, not anymore, sir.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well played. So I found out something new. On the internet, there's something called trolling, which you may have heard of.
No.
Okay, troll, T-R-O-L-L. And it's where somebody says something intentionally. I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
Someone intentionally says something inflammatory to get people to respond to them.
Okay.
So they don't care. They might not even believe it. But they say this thing just to kind of, anonymously bar people.
You're fishing for these comments.
It turns out, I found out, trolling, that's a real fishing technique. It's where you take a long line and you bait all these hooks along the line. And you try and just see how many fish will take the bait.
Interesting.
And that's the thing. And I thought it was a derivative of trawling, which is where you throw a net down and you kind of drag it along the bottom and just kind of see what comes out.
Is that a W in it?
T-R-A-W-L-I.
I can spell, guys.
Yep,
Yeah.
she can spell. Shannon is a professional.
I'm working on it.
She is, no.
No.
You're getting more polish, I grant you that. But Shannon has always been a great professional. Reliable, does what she says she's going to do, and gets the job done. And really cares about what she's doing.
It's easy though when you like your job, to care about your job. I've been in jobs that I don't care about. Not that I'm bad in them. I don't go back at 10 o'clock at night to finish things up, So there's that.
Well, great.
You gotta love your job,
That's
people.
really nice.
And I'm pretty lucky to have this job. Because it's awesome. So.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, we have several positions open, and that's an effect of growing. If you have a company that employs 24 people, and you grow to be time and a half, you're not going to do it with those 24 people. You got to add. You got to add some. So we have some pretty aggressive goals there. We have an application process. For a while now, we've had a policy of always. We don't just grab someone internally and say, you know what, you do now, go do this. We actually open it up, we interview everybody that's interested, and then we pick the best one out of those.
And you don't even have to live in Utah. If you want to come to Utah to work here, great.
You can Skype interview.
Yeah.
We actually have 3 people coming from out of town to be here for a week.
So we do trial runs with you to make sure it's going to work before you relocate and stuff. But yeah, it's worked out. We have quite a few people that are not from Utah.
And it's just gonna have to be that way. Okay, so let's talk about personal news. Things going on in Shannon's life.
Why do I always have to start it out?
What I always start.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Don't you remember? Like, you can't one-up the awesome thing that I just said.
So I have to start because mine sucks and yours is way more
I
important.
didn't say that.
Definitely applied. Personally.
Hold on. That's
Okay.
that's one of my favorite Dilberts. His girlfriend says, you love that laptop more than me, don't you? And he says, I don't love you more than that laptop. And he's like, oh, please don't ask about the other one. Dilbert's awesome.
Is that like the Sunday comic thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Dilbert is. And Scott Adams, the author of Dilbert, wrote a book called Dilbert Future. And I have to say, one of the most brilliant books I've ever read. It really is a business book. And if someone said, Sean, what are some books I should read about business? That is actually one of them. It's so insightful. Oh, it really is. About how it all works. By the way, I watered the plant, right? Because this plant is like, it's wilting. Look at that. And these things are unkillable. You know, you have to really, go wrong. So, and now I'm so thirsty.
Did you drink
After
the plant
watering
water?
I had a sip before I put it on there. Yeah. Yeah. The plant water. No, I let it filter on through and I slurped it out of the bottom.
I commence on.
It's so delicious. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I probably just turn around and walk away because I can't see anything.
Yeah. Yeah. She's gonna shrivel up. Her face is gonna be like all puckered. And holding it back.
No, I think it's been interesting. Okay, so I'm going to tell you where this all began.
Okay.
We were up at Valhalla, and I think it was me, you, Sarah, and her sister, and we were sitting around the table and we were talking, and I realized that everything that came out of my mouth during this conversation was negative about people, about things, just everything that I was like spewing out was just so negative. And I went home that night and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, how does a person get to this point where everything's just negative, you know? I mean, that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. So I decided then and there that I was going to be a nice person. And I was really going to work on things like, think of the positive instead of the negative, because that much negativity in somebody's life isn't awesome. So, turns out though, it's been kind of hard. Like, the first thing that wants to come out of my mouth for most things is something negative, something cruel, something funny, but not probably the nicest thing to say. So yeah, I've been working on it. It's been interesting. It's fun. I sit across from Rob. His desk is right across from me. And so he knows that this is going on. And it's interesting. Let me just tell you a little backstory on Rob. When he first started, we've had a lot of people come in here and be like, oh, we're going to do this and this and this.
Yeah, hot shots.
Right, hot shots. I don't like hot shots, okay? They talk a lot, but a lot of them don't come through. So Rob comes in and everybody's all excited, and he's one of those hot shots. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this guy. First off, I hate him, right? I hated him. That was horrible of me to hate somebody I don't even know.
And now you've gone on record.
I know. I've told him this, so we're good.
Okay. Oh,
And
okay.
you can hear me
I
now.
hate you.
No, I said after the fact, but turns out
Rob?
It's not him.
I hear people like going up and down.
It's not him. So it turns out Rob is pretty awesome though. Like, he's been doing a lot. Like, he's just kind of came in here and done a lot of awesome stuff. So
Yeah, he gets the job
he
done.
really does. And so Rob is no longer a hot shot. He's a doer with a little hot shot attitude still that we're trying to poke and shrink his head down a little bit. Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's great.
I think he's great.
He's
And
ballsy.
So I told him that one day though. I was like, so I'm trying to be a nice person, and I was like, the first time I meet people, I automatically hate them. And my attitude is that they have to earn my
Wait, did you
liking.
automatically hate me? You
No.
must have.
No, this has just been in like the last year that
So you
apparently I've
liked
become this jaded. Yeah, I liked you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. This has just been a new thing for me that I've become this jaded, I guess. So
Because I am amazingly likable.
right. But you should never have the attitude when you meet people that they have to earn your liking. Like, you should
Okay.
just like everybody.
Really?
And then not like them. if
Chime
they do
in,
something.
people.
Right?
Yeah, what are you like
I mean,
and how should it be?
How guarded am I as a person who I'm like, I'm automatically hate you, and then like, so I'm this huge brick wall, you have to get through just so I'll like you? Like, what is that? That's not a way to live your life. So, anyways, Rob's great. Story ending on that one. He's awesome. But he always like catches me, like I'll say something and he's like, I thought you were being nice, and I'm like,
Oh, no!
No, it's good.
That's the thing when you try and improve yourself.
Right.
That's what people always do.
It's good though.
It's the lobsters. If you put a bucket of lobsters and one lobster tries to escape and crawl out, the other lobsters will claw him back in.
I'm not saying I'm going to be perfectly nice, you know, but I'm trying to be a better person, I guess.
You're not better than us. Get back down to our level.
I'm like
No,
clear
I'm not saying
right
that.
now.
I think that's great. When I was in South America, there was this family that they kind of came to us, and although we had no reason or power to help them, they were like, help us. They built a second story on their house.
Yeah.
And this is in the super poor neighborhood.
Right.
All the other people around them had thrown rocks and bricks at the second floor of the house.
They were mad that they had it.
It was bitterness, yeah. It was the broken poor is the translation.
No, and God's not doing that.
Oh no, I'm not saying he is.
Okay, I'm like...
I'm just saying there is a human phenomenon where if you try and like better yourself, you get kind of out of sync or out of vibration possibly with the people that you're used to associating
But
with.
that's probably not a bad thing. I think humans get comfortable where they're at. You know, they're like, oh, I have my house, my job, my car, my bills are paid. Done. What about you as a person? Do people really like look at themselves as a person, the effect they have on the world? Because I think people have more of an effect than they think. On the people we meet, on the people that, you know, don't know us. I don't know. Right? It's kind of weird.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
This is lovely.
I think I'm having a nervous breakdown. I'm about to turn 30 though, and I'm like, oh my God, what kind of person am I?
Right?
Not the one I want to be, it turns out. So, yeah.
Well,
not that you guys care. Why do they care?
No, this is great. This is the human portion of the show.
Yeah.
A lot of people tune in. What's odd is our demographic actually goes up in age for the morning show.
Really?
It's not just less people that spread out over the same demographic. It's the young people basically just aren't interested in this.
Right.
And
Because
that's okay.
What kind of like
Curse of the
20-year-old
young.
would be interested in this? Like,
I don't know.
what's this babble about bettering yourself?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go be drunk. I don't know. I was there with you. When you're 30, you will want to change.
Killing a few brain cells.
Yeah. You need it now, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? How long have I been sitting here like this? That's
My
someone
turn though.
typing. With their chairs
Just in the
all the way
neck.
down. What's going on? Okay, so hold on. I was about to address that,
Okay.
which is this is an important part of the show. This is the human element, because what we found out is we don't just paint miniatures here. We inspire people. We have even prevented a few suicides, I think.
Which, by the way, I love hearing. That's awesome. I mean,
Right?
It's
Not
great.
the suicide thing.
Right.
The other type, the general type of mail we get is kind of the "you helped me through a dark time," and that's important. People need that. You would be surprised how you perceive people as strong. Oh no, everybody has their dark times, their hard times.
Right.
I struggle with it. You see the happy Sean. That's not fake.
You have not seen
but
this
I
stressed
generally
out crying
don't.
in the corner, Sean.
Oh, come
He
on.
doesn't do that really.
I do
Sometimes.
inside.
That's why you should carry around a box of tissues, my friend.
That's awesome. But I did want to say, I've almost always seen past Shannon's prickly exterior, there's someone who really is very tender and kind. And I think babies start with pristine little hard drives. They have no bacteria in their system. They have nothing in their brain. They have this little blank slate. And then life crustifies on top of you like dried tar. And you do. There's stuff to deal with. You know, there is. I realized. You know, you live to be 80. That's a reasonable lifespan. I actually think if you're marginally living healthy, you can live an active 100, possibly 120. I think if you tried. And
How
so
long are you hoping to live?
you don't. We chunk it into here's childhood, here's teenagerhood, and then all of a sudden you're an adult. And it's kind of some amorphous thing. I'm 43, and I am learning something new at least every week, usually every day. The Sean Gately you see before you is not the same guy as 1 month ago. I'm smarter, I understand things better, I've read more books, I have made mistakes and learned from relationships, and yeah, still growing. It's neat.
You know what's interesting though?
Oh, this is kind of a little tender
I
heart.
know it is. I'm not
Oh, my
gonna
new nickname for Shannon is Tender Heart Bear.
What? Oh.
Do I need a tissue?
Do you need a tissue?
No. I just felt something on my face.
Did I spit?
I don't know, maybe.
Sorry.
I have something in my eye.
But it's interesting that I came to this conclusion, and I've been working on this for about a week now, and we're kind of doing that in the business too.
Oh, yeah. Wow. All right. How much do we want to get into this?
Not a lot. Let's just barely skim the surface.
Okay, I'm ready.
In our meeting this morning, it was a great meeting, by the way.
We do a leadership meeting every day at 11 now, which is a new thing. We're syncing up. Okay, go ahead.
And it's great. It's been awesome. Phenomenally awesome. Way better. But this morning, you copied a thing out of a book. I don't even know what book it was from. And it was very insightful. Kind of, I guess, along more of like the secret thing.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of books that
little.
tap into the exact same idea.
Right. You kind of have to see something and, you know, envision that, live your life that way, and it'll come to you. And that's kind of not what we're doing, but I mean, we're doing that. And then some.
Well, what you dream about and really want is magnetized.
But you have to work on it as well. It's not like you can just sit at your
right.
house and be like, one day I'm gonna win the
I am
lottery.
thinking unshaven, soils himself, hasn't been out.
It actually takes a lot of work to get what you want in life. You have to live it, think it, breathe it,
There's
and
risk.
do it. And you have
There's
to do
risk involved. And it's scary. It is real scary to go out there and go, whoa, I need to do this. Like we're working on having an in-house brokerage, real estate brokerage, inside of the companies that we've created.
So basically, now's a really good time to apply at BTP if you've always thought about getting a job here.
The shorthand is there's a future with this company.
There really is.
But that's not like some kind of guaranteed thing. We're not going to grab you by the hair and drag you along with what we're doing. Oh, no. The initial gate that opens is kind of like entry-level position. By the way, here's the gate to go out to if that's not your thing.
Right.
And so, you know, we don't try and browbeat people or keep them here. We just try and make the best choices that we can.
And we want people to work here who want to be here.
It's pursuit of happiness. Yeah, so like people come in, their resume says, I want to get a job in the field of like telephone marketing.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing here?
Who wants to get a job
You can't. I actually had this one person cross it out and write down what they really wanted. Because she said, yeah, art's my passion, art is what I want to do, it's what I'm doing in my spare time, I'm thinking about it all the time, that sort of thing. And I was like, why doesn't your resume say that?
Right.
Well, of course, because you want to get a job so you can eat, right? But don't start with that. Write down what it is you really want, what do you really want to be, and stick it on the wall. Step one, actually write it down. And it's harder than you might think to think about, well, what is it that you want to do? And, you know, get some goals. And I think that's the source of a lot of unhappiness on this earth is not really knowing, just kind of like switching on and switching off positive and negative.
That's me. No, that's me.
Right. But the thing I described this morning.
Well, yeah. So
you can't just be like, oh, I'm a failure, I never amount to anything, oh, everything's horrible,
Well,
I'm probably just going to die, and then the next day you're like, yeah, I'm up, it's going to be great. And it's just like being in a boat and going,
But in that paper you had said, in the paper that we got this morning in our meeting, it had said that you need to focus on one thing and work on that, be that, you know, live your life for that, basically. And if you have so many goals, you change them all the time, and it's just chaos, basically. That's what I am. Turns out I'm complete chaos. I read this and I was like, aww. But it's good to realize that, though, you know, so that you can actually focus on something. So that's my new thing. One thing.
So, yeah, and as Shannon's brought up rightfully is, if we're going to grow this company, and for it to be a vehicle by which people can achieve their goals, then we've got to improve ourselves and learn new things and learn to look at things in a new way, get practical skills. Sarah's getting her real estate license.
Awesome.
So that because we bought this building, but we did it with a guy who was doing both sides of the deal. He was the broker for the buyer and seller. Turns out that's not always the best. Not a criticism of him personally, just saying, well, it would have been better if we had been our own agent, basically. And for what we want to do, we really do need to accomplish that. So Sarah's learning something new. My thing is I'm learning to actually do promotions. What are the different types of things out there? I realized that, for example, I realized a battle report is really a product demonstration.
Yeah.
We're showing here's the product we sell, here's how to use it. Yes? Yeah, I am just now real. Well, I've been going through this business for 7 years like a hurricane. That just like with raw force. I'm just kind of like, this is the direction, rah!
Why doesn't it feel like
Not
it's
really
been like
thinking.
9 or something?
Because we're coming up on 9.
Okay.
January 1st, 2013.
Do you know that
9 years.
this month is my 2-year... I've been here 2 years now.
Right?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yay.
You remember when I started, you kept telling people, like, Blackfire? You kept telling them, don't get used to Shannon, she won't be here very long. And you would say that to people. Like, and then people would...
Did I say that?
You would.
Oh.
Yeah, one time Gary was like, because I went to pick up some drop off something or whatever, and he's like, oh, who are you? And I said, I'm Shannon. And he's like, oh, I'm told not to get comfortable with you because you might not be here very long. I was like,
oh no.
Okay.
Well, and
2 years.
That's
people.
a problem. Yeah, take that. And she's like, no, I quit. I proved you wrong, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
2 years is enough. Yeah, that is. I think my delivery's a little too dry sometimes. Because I am joking around when I say that. I don't get emotionally
Didn't faze me. I'm
connected.
still here.
But that's one of the things I've learned, which is don't jest about that. It's it's not. Don't joke about firing people. And do I still do it? I think I kind of still do it sometimes.
Probably.
But in a way, it's a technique to diffuse tension. Because if you say something and then laugh about it, it's a roundabout way of saying, by the way, that's probably not going to happen.
When you say stuff a lot, do you say just kidding?
No, I don't say that.
Okay, so me and my...
But I don't modulate my voice very well.
Me and my roommate were talking about this the other day.
Okay, I'm ready.
That we've known a couple people that have traveled to different countries, so this is where you guys chime in.
Right.
Americans, I guess as a whole, she had somebody tell her that was from a different country that he doesn't like Americans at all. Because here, we pass around things, we'll say, oh, you shouldn't eat that, it'll make you fat. Just kidding, when really, it's going to make you fat. That's not good for your arteries, but we kind of we say things, but then we act like we're joking, so we don't have to hold any credit for it.
So what's his complaint? That we're not direct?
We're not honest. We're not direct with people, that we, we say things that we mean, but then we brush it off as we're just kidding, so that we don't have to hold it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
Chime
curious.
in, people.
I mean, so I've had a couple people that have traveled to different countries, and they said that these people were mean there. But were they mean, or were they just direct? And we, as Americans, don't know how to handle that.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? I think you would do well in other countries.
Kind of like Chris Christie.
Who's Chris
He's
Christie?
the governor of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he's in a press conference, I'm like, some people have called you abrasive. He's like, well, I tell the truth, and I'm very direct about it. And he says, some people might find that honest and refreshing.
I think it's great. Yeah.
But you have to consider. You have to consider the situation who you're talking to.
Right.
I found most people don't self-examine very well.
Right.
So if they're not ready to hear it, you can't say.
Well, I don't feel like you
always
have to be rude when you say it. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's a nice way to go about things, or there is a rude way.
Yeah. Some people want a spoonful of sugar,
Right.
and some people want a spoonful of truth.
Is this us as Americans that are like this,
Oh,
though?
okay.
Or is it at all the other countries? I mean, are we more this way than other places? I don't know. Chime in. I'm curious, because I know we have a lot of people that watch from different countries and stuff.
But see, now we're soliciting stereotypes.
No.
Americans, yes, a whole country of 300 million people
Not
is generally the same way. That's what they're like.
I mean, but we have this guy tell my friend that he hated most
there is
Americans
American
because,
culture.
right, as a culture as a whole, are we like that?
I don't
Is
know.
that better to say? Not stereotyping?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not trying to stereotype.
Well, when we had our friends come in from Wales, hi, Yen and Richard. Yeah, and they said, I'm like, so what are American stereotypes? They're like this, and this. And I realized I had exhibited every single stereotype, good and bad. There were a lot of good ones, though. We're helpful.
They were nice, though. I don't
We're
remember
open and
them
complimentary.
being abrasive at all.
Oh, no, they were fun.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah.
A little bit of wry humor.
But I liked that. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think we're at the end of our rope. Any news or anecdotes going on? My 3-year-old daughter is making campsites throughout the house.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
like little forts. And she gets if she has a flashlight, it's now a campsite.
Nice.
And she's like, Dad, I'm in my campsite.
Just standing there next to you.
No, she builds something, a little
Builds a
fort. And, oh yeah, that girl. My family's so awesome. My 13-year-old daughter is like, oh no, she's going to turn 13, she's going to be horrible. She is wonderful. What a great human being that she is. So neat and responsible and kind. Oh my gosh, she is really neat. And I'm trying something, which is being overwhelmingly positive. I accept you just the way you are. You don't have to do anything extra to get my approval. Right? It has this weird, like, psychological effect on her. She just, like, you know, like rubbing an alligator's belly or something. You know, she's just like, it's almost like now she feels safe. You can see safeness come over her.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm safe.
Right.
And I think that I dare say that helps girls because they want to be accepted into the group, and that is how things are modulated. That young girls can be destroyed if the group ousts them.
Okay.
And I think that's hard to take, or if they'll do crazy stuff to be accepted. And what I'm trying to do, along with my wife, Tammy, is to pre-create the good feeling associated with acceptance in our daughter.
Right.
That basically she's going to have such great self-esteem, she's always working on her self-esteem, that she'll have enough gas to get through the desert of puberty, basically. But, you know, you never know. The name of the game of adolescence is rebellion and finding out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm like, kids, as long as you don't do anything worse than me, I'm okay with that.
As long as my kids don't do
And that is going to give them a lot of latitude. What?
I just hope my kids don't do anything close to what I did.
Right.
I'm a different parent than my mother was, though, so hopefully steering them the right way.
Improve the generations. All right, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know why we call this the morning show. We should just call it the show.
Afternoon.
Yeah, no, that's the tradition.
Yeah.
Off we go. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, thanks a lot, Shannon.
Yeah.
That's really super.